So you have been with GS Coaching for 18 months?
It's been, I think, coming up to 18 months, definitely been over a year now.
A long time.
Yeah, about 16, 17 months.
Best time of your life.
Yeah.
And what was the reason for picking GS Coaching above everybody else?
I think first and foremost, I have always tried dieting and exercising, and pretty much failed because I've not seen the results. I've always been, well, I used to be a size 8 before marriage. That was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Since then, 3 kids later, I found myself in a position where I was not so confident. I, gained body fat, and I just wanted to feel like how I used to feel. And it's through going to the gym, doing what I thought was right at the time, which was just jumping on the treadmill, walking, doing some classes, doing a bit of Zumba, a bit of legs, bums, and tums, that I met yourself at the
Yeah.
gym, and was sort of inspired by you, really. I looked into your social medias, I saw Simon at the gym as well, and I loved what you guys were doing, and checked you guys out, and I knew straight away that you guys would bring me the results. So I definitely signed up there and then
And
not
I
looked
think as
back.
well, like, because you knew both of us, I think a lot of people will say as well, like with Simon's transformation, I think, is that something as well, knowing what
That
he's
was
gone
so
through?
inspiring. I remember the very first time Simon pulled out his phone in the gym and showed me what he used to look like. I stood there arguing with him, that's not you, that's not you. I honestly was blown away to think that that was him. And then looking at him, how I see him at the gym, I
Because
thought,
facially, it doesn't even look like him, does
no,
it?
it doesn't. And I honestly thought these type of things are fictional. Like, I didn't think in real life someone could make such a transformation. You see things online, you think, oh, it's Photoshop, or it's
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
it's that, it's a different person. But to see it for myself, I was literally stunned, and I thought, okay, he's done it. He knows what he's doing. I'll put my faith in
absolutely.
him.
The amount of people that when he put a post out, the before and after one, and the amount of messages that I actually got as to like, is that actually Simon? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like
Because I
that
bet you
actually is.
yourself can't even believe, oh my God, this is
No,
what he used to
and
look
it's
like.
it's one of those as well, like, because obviously I met him after the transformation. So a lot of the time he will say to me, like when we're out and about, oh, when I was bigger I used to go to that shop and I used to buy 3 of their breakfast baguettes, and I can't get my head around it
Yeah.
because I'm so used to him as he is now. I can't imagine him being like that. It's really,
That's what it
really
is.
bizarre.
When I saw him at the gym and he was on that stairmaster, and he's always on the move. He was so passionate in his classes, and then to see what he used to be like, I thought it's not adding up. Like, how does a person go from one extreme to another?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But then I just realized he's serious in what he does and he knows his stuff, and that definitely, when it came to putting my faith in someone, that what more do you want than actual guarantee,
Yeah,
in
that
front of
someone's
you
done
that
it.
it's been done and, tried and tested. So yeah, it was a
Absolutely.
no-brainer for sure.
And what was it like? What kind of got you to the point? Because I kind of feel like when someone then signs up with a coach, there's like a trigger. Obviously, you've been trying for so long. What was the actual point that made you think, like, right, okay, now I do really want some help. I need to do something about it?
Honestly, I was just tired of feeling like I'm exhausted because I'm going to the gym. So, I'm on the treadmill, I'm on the cross trainer. Cardio is all I ever knew.
And you were
I
doing a
would
lot of classes as well, weren't you?
classes. I would do a class every single day in the morning. As soon as I drop the kids off school, come and do whatever classes were on, and I'd finish that off and do half an hour on the treadmill. And I'd think, right, I've had a really productive day. I'd go home absolutely knackered, and then not seeing any weight loss. And then I would do things like no carb diet,
Yeah.
and not seeing the weight loss. I thought to myself, I'm working so hard, why am I getting anywhere? And that's what sparked my interest in doing something
Yeah, and,
proper
and I
about
think
it for
it,
the
it's
first
so
time.
common when people say that, like, I've tried everything and
Yeah.
nothing's working. And I did a post actually about it the other day where people sometimes get put off trying again because, like you say, they've done like no carb diets or meal replacement diets, and it's a miserable process.
Yeah.
So then they think, oh, if I try again, I've got to go back through that process again. So, what would you say this time has been different from the times that you've tried before?
Now I have a structure. Now I have knowledge from you guys. literally before I thought to myself, if I don't eat bread, carbs, I will just get skinny. And
Yeah.
the people that are skinny in the gym, they just go on the treadmill, they run it out, they don't eat bread, they don't eat carbs, and they're skinny, and they've got good genes.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I used to tell myself. But now after joining, just understanding, exactly what nutrition is has really helped. Understanding what training is,
Yeah.
and
Because your
how
training's changed a lot now, hasn't
training
it?
has changed. I before I could not even set foot in the weight section of the gym. I was so intimidated. For me, it was like that's a man's area to. And I actually used to think if I started lifting weights, I would become a muscly hench looking. and
And but a lot of people do think that
I
though.
did. I honestly, and that's not even exaggerating. I literally thought to myself, if I start training, lifting weights like everyone else does, I'm going to be big and muscly, and I don't want that one to look nice and small and feminine.
Yeah.
So again, it's that education and not realizing that what I'd been doing this whole time has had absolutely no effect for that reason. That it's just it was a load of rubbish. So and then with the nutrition as well, I feel like if someone had told me you can eat bread, you can eat rice, you can eat pasta, and you can still
And
lose weight,
Biscoff.
and Biscoff and bagels
Yeah.
and the things that I am eating, I would have said you can't. It's impossible because all I've ever known is you're going to get fat if you eat bread. You're going to get
Yeah,
fat if you eat
absolutely.
rice. Just eat meat on its own. That's all if you want to lose weight. But the fact that you can have all of these things, and with me, I have the biggest sweet tooth. You know that.
Yeah.
I'm always after my sweet. So to be able to have like a Rice Krispie square bar or some
Your Freddo.
caramel rice cake, Freddos, chocolates. If I told people, oh yeah, I'm having chocolate, but it's okay, I'm dieting, I'm losing weight. They're kind of like, huh? How
Yeah,
are you
how's that
doing
actually
that?
happening?
It's just about knowing the quantities and obviously varying your variety of food and nutrition you're taking. Whereas
Yeah.
before I would just be like sweet, 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 sweet.
Yeah.
Now I can
Make a little
I
bit
can
more
I can make
conscious
allowances
choice.
and just reduce my sweet to what I need it to be to just at least settle my cravings.
Yeah,
But at least
absolutely.
I can have those things. Whereas before I wasn't sustaining anything because I would cut out sweet, I would cut out carbs, and then I'd do it for a week, and then
Yeah.
I'd be like, right, where's the cupboard?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then I
I
would
think
just
it's so
undo
common where
everything.
people start and they just think, right, no more meals out, no more chocolate, no
Yeah,
more crisps, no more anything. And anything that gives you a little bit of ounce of joy just goes because they're so desperate to see a change.
yeah,
But then, like you say, a week, 3 weeks down the line, it's like
yeah.
you get to a point where actually it's like, I'd rather be overweight than
Exactly.
eat like this
That's
because this is
exactly what it is.
miserable. And I would be exactly the same. And I think that's where for us it's so important to give our clients that education so that they
Yep.
understand, okay, well, I'm losing weight, but why am I actually losing the weight? How is this
Yep.
actually working? But I guess like for you as well, like your social life and eating out, and there's been a lot of weddings and stuff in between.
We have a lot of weddings in our family, very big family.
And how
Yeah.
would you say that it's been manageable with having such a hectic social life?
I am a very sociable person. I like my parties, I like my meals out, I like meeting up with family and friends. And I think the fact that you're allowed an off plan meal
Yeah.
under your nutrition plan really helps because when you're having your meal, you don't feel like you're cheating. You don't feel like, oh my God, I shouldn't be doing this. And you're feeling guilty and you're feeling horrible. Then you wake up regretting it. You can have that meal with a full knowledge that it's going to be okay. I'm allowed to have this. It's
Yeah.
accounted for. So, you don't do the whole guilt thing to yourself. And I've learned, I think, with time, I wasn't good at this at the beginning, but I've learned with time that you have to pick and choose the social events that you want to have your off-plan meal with, because in a week, if you've got 3 or 4 things going on, you can't just be like, right, off-plan, off-plan, off-plan.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
you pick, what's the most, important one to you, or where you think you're going to enjoy the most, off-plan meal. You choose that. And then I think with the other times, it's just about being sensible. And that's where the education comes in. So if you're going out to Nando's, instead of ordering, a chicken with double chips, you might want to order the chicken with coleslaw or a salad. So it's just that mindfulness that you have when you're under such a a routine nutrition plan.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like, and as well, like you don't so much mind going to Nando's and picking a better option if you know that, well, on Saturday I'm going to a wedding and I can really enjoy that.
Exactly.
Whereas I think like, and I said this with one of the other ladies earlier on, like a lot of coaches don't coach how I coach. A lot of coaches will say, oh, you can have what you want as long as it fits within your calories on a day-to-day basis, which is not incorrect information. Like it does work like that. But then that's 7 days a week. And sometimes I just think, sometimes you don't want to track your food all the time. Sometimes you want to just be able to go to the wedding and just eat
Yeah.
whatever's there and not have to worry about it and try and track it into MyFitnessPal or whatever. And I think from a relationship with food standpoint, I know that's something that we've worked on a lot with you, but do you find that actually having that time where you can mentally switch off and just enjoy the moment, has that helped you have a better relationship with food?
Definitely. And I think in terms of relationship with food, I've never really thought about food before starting this journey. I just used to eat what I wanted when I wanted. But now, and I think the overeating got me to the point where I was before I started. But the fact that now I don't actually have as many, I'm not going to say I don't have cravings. Everyone has cravings. Everyone wants to reach in the cupboard and eat sweet things or things, that you maybe shouldn't be having too much of. But I think from where I was before, my cravings have reduced significantly. And that's due to this sort of consistency of the nutrition plan. So I think my relationship with food, where before I would reach into the cupboard and just keep eating and eating and eating, I wouldn't need any excuse, just, having a bad day or, had an argument with someone or the kids are annoying me, just go and eat.
Yeah.
Whereas now my first thing is not turn, I'll just, go and bash it out at the gym or something,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
I won't just turn to food thinking that that's gonna, comfort me, because when I have done that in the past and put in the way, it has that reverse
The
effect.
opposite effect.
So there's no point. Like now I know what I didn't know back then, so I'm able to
Do
implement
you
those
think it
things.
makes you more kind of aware of when you get those moments of, right, I want to raid the cupboards, that you're more kind of aware of what's making you feel like that
Yeah,
now?
definitely. And I stop and I think, right, if I eat this right now, I'll feel good right now, but give it an hour, I'll start thinking, why did I do that? I feel fat, I feel horrible.
Yeah.
So definitely mindset has changed, and I'm able to acknowledge, right, the reason I want to eat this is because I've just had a fight, or I've just had
Yeah.
an argument with my husband or my friend or whatever it is. So put that aside, go take a breath, take a walk, do something else. I don't need to eat this food
It's
because
acting on logic rather than impulse then.
exactly, because I've always acted on impulse, and
Yeah.
food is what most people, I would say, turn to for comfort. But I think now I'm able to sort of manage those feelings a lot
A
more.
lot better.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, your relationship with food has definitely
Yeah.
improved a lot since you, and it's something that like I work with a lot. I mean, obviously I speak about it quite openly with my past relationship with food, and I think that, like you say, having a structure really helps, but also a flexible structure. I think
Yeah.
that's where sometimes meal plans don't work, is where people are given a really structured meal plan that's written by the coach where the client has no input, and then they feel forced to eat a certain thing. Whereas we obviously discuss it with you, like what kind of stuff would you like on your plan? Is this going to work? Is that going to work? And like ultimately, I guess, like, do you enjoy the stuff that you're eating on a day-to-day
Yeah,
basis?
definitely. I mean, to be able to say to you, oh, after my lunch, I really crave something sweet. Can I have a chocolate? And then to be able to have that factored in, knowing that, okay, if I have a chocolate, I don't have to feel bad about it because it's accounted for.
Yeah.
So definitely you can enjoy it instead of me thinking, right, I'm going to have a chocolate now because I really craving sweet, but oh, I shouldn't be having it. And then you do all sorts of psychological damage to yourself then.
Yeah, you
So
just
I
beat yourself
think,
up. You have an argument in
yeah,
your head with yourself.
exactly. So I think being able to discuss with you, right, actually, at these times of the day, I like to have a little something sweet, or, and for you to be able to factor that in, it just makes it a whole lot more pleasant having the foods that I'm having, and I think, definitely with, things like, evening meals, having something substantial, and then after that having a pot of yogurt, which is quite filling,
Yeah.
you're basically set for the evening, and you're not going to bed thinking, right, I'm hungry, I
Yeah,
really
and
wish I
wanting to
could eat
like
this.
pick bits out and
Yeah,
stuff.
I think for me it's important that in the evening I have my full meal, and I'm when I'm going to bed I'm full and satisfied, and that is, what's happening.
Nothing worse
So
than going to bed hungry.
exactly. Yeah, no, no, definitely. It's I'm happy with the way I'm able to choose my foods.
And then with your kind of lifestyle as well, so you don't have the easiest home life. You've
Yeah.
got three kids that are how old again?
So I've got 11, 8, almost 9, and 7.
Yeah. And husband works
He works in
away a lot,
London a
doesn't he?
lot, yeah. Sometimes he goes to Paris, so he's very, very busy.
And what would you say to people like that are a lot of the time similar to yourself? And like we had a conversation actually before this as to this really is the only thing that you do for yourself.
It is. It's the only thing. And, my life revolves around my home, my family, husband, children. And I feel like I always put them first. I think every mother does. You put your family first and you sacrifice a few things. But I think this is one of the things that I regret not doing sooner, because, as I said to you, I mean, 15 years I've been married. If I had looked after myself a lot from the beginning, I wouldn't have found myself in the situation that I was in before I joined you. And I think this is the only thing I do for myself. Going to that gym is the only me
That's
time
the
I
only time you
get.
have, isn't
The
it?
kids are
Yeah.
at school, I'm at the gym, and I'm focusing on me. I'm not thinking about what they need or even what to do for dinner or any of those things. I'm there and I'm like, I'm working on myself, and I deserve to.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important to do. And my only regret would be not doing it sooner than I did.
And what would you say with say like with other women that also have the kids and they find that they feel like it's impossible to be able to fit it in
Make the
with
time.
what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
make the time. Absolutely. I mean, there's women that do it all. There's women that work, that, raise children, run a home. But if you're not giving yourself that time, you can't be the best version to do all of those things. So I think, in hindsight, like I said, everyone should put themselves first to an extent where you need to look after yourself, make sure you're feeling good, make sure you're, looking good for your children, and you have to make time for that. I think it's
Absolutely.
a
And I
non-negotiable.
think I remember you saying to me, which I thought was absolutely brilliant, that your kids now know what time mum goes to the gym, don't
Oh
they?
yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They know, not to question. They know as soon as I get dropped off at school, mum's going to the gym,
I
and
love
that's
that.
that's all she does. And it's actually funny because sometimes if I happen to go to the gym on a Saturday or a Sunday, Mum, this is not your gym time. Why are you going to the
They
gym?
know your
Well,
diary.
yeah, exactly. Well, I'm sorry, but I've decided to go today. But yeah, no, it's important for the children as well to see that mum's looking after herself,
Yeah,
mum's
100%.
eating good food, mum is exercising, because it just gives them something to look up to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's such an important thing as to where mums want to be the best mum possible
Yeah.
and they feel like by sacrificing everything, that's going to be the best mum.
Yeah.
But ultimately, if you're not setting the example that it's okay to look after you first,
Yeah.
then the kids are going to replicate that as they get
And the
older.
kids love it. I've never been able to do something like
Oh, you sent me the
monkey
video, yeah.
bars in the playground. The kids were absolutely, I felt like Superwoman that day because they were playing. I got challenged to go on the monkey bars, and they sort of said it in a sarcastic way. Even my husband, like, go on, get mum on the monkey bars. And we were all thinking, gosh, I'm not going to last. I'm not going to be able to hang off of those. So I just did it for a laugh. And, the way I was able to swing through those monkey bars, the upper
Yeah.
body strength that I felt, I actually felt like Superwoman. And and my kids were looking like, whoa, we didn't know mum could do this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And my husband looked proud of me as well. So I just thought, all of this working out, it's not just to look good, or it's making my children happy. They're looking at me
Yeah.
thinking, wow, mum's flying across the monkey bars. I bet your
love it.
mum can't do that. You know, they might be
But they
saying to
do.
their
They
friends.
actually feel
They
proud of
do.
stuff like that, don't
Yeah.
they? And I think that's very
Yeah.
noticeable, like with Simon and Isaac as well, in a sense of that his dad's a cool dad, and he likes that.
Yeah.
It's quite a it's a
They feel proud
yeah,
showing
yeah,
you
they do.
off to
It's like,
the
you know, you go and pick your
yeah.
kids up from school and it's like, oh, look, my dad does bodybuilding. It's like quite a cool thing. They like
Yeah.
that. And I think that's absolutely amazing. And I think it's things like that that people often don't take into consideration. They just kind of think it's about losing a bit of weight, but the difference it then makes to all aspects
Yeah.
of your life. And I know like now as well with the way you love being glamorous, you love getting dressed up, you
Yeah.
love going out, and like now you will send me pictures before you go out because you're proud of what you look like.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
do you think that that's made, I mean, I know that you and your husband are very, very happy.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's made it even better within the
Oh,
relationship again?
100%. Because, you know, my husband is one of those that he won't say, oh, you know, you're looking a bit big, or maybe you should lose some weight. He's always accepted me how I am. You know,
He loves you
yeah,
whatever.
exactly. I was a size 8. I have gone through every single number.
He's had
Up to
lots of
probably more.
different wives.
He's had lots of, exactly. And then back down. But you know, it's not like I feel he loves me more when I'm slimmer, but I feel so much more attractive when
Yeah.
I'm wearing something and I feel slim and I feel like I'm looking good, then my confidence just goes through the roof.
Yeah.
And, you know, even though, you know, he won't say, oh, you know, you're looking better than you used to, whatever, because he just doesn't. He's just not like that. He's not bothered. But I know and I feel like he's also proud of how I'm looking, and he can see the confidence in me and he thrives off of that as well. So
Yeah, it just creates a whole different
100%.
vibe in the relationship, doesn't
In the
it?
relationship, even you know, in front of the kids, being able to look good. And you know, my son, one time I must have been dressed for a wedding and I was walking down the stairs and he was gawping at me and he said, Mum, you look like a princess. And I was like,
Oh,
oh, but these type of things, you know, and just having the confidence in front of even family members, extended families, you know, you're at a wedding where there's hundreds of people there, and for people to come up to you and say, wow, you know, you're looking really good. How have you done it? That's a
and you
big
had
ego
people in the gym
boost.
say stuff as well, didn't
Oh
you?
yeah, in the gym as well, because you know they've been following my journey over the last year or so, and they sort of look at me and they're like, how are you losing the weight? We're also doing, like, we're here doing classes, we're doing things, and you
Yeah,
know,
you're
that's
like,
when I have to
oh,
say,
it's a
oh, I've
secret.
been with Team GS. But yeah, you do get those compliments and comments, and it makes it all worth it. It makes your confidence just, you know, go through
So
the
much
roof.
better.
Yeah,
And what
definitely.
would you say in regards to GS coaching as a whole is so much more than just myself and Simon?
Oh my
Like the
goodness, yeah.
community side of things and the team events and the forum. How do you feel that has helped you on your journey?
First thing is, when I signed up, I literally thought, I've never done coaching with anyone in my life. I've only ever coached myself, in a sense, where I just go and do a bit of cardio and think it's all right. But I thought when I was signing up, I'm going to be handed a nutrition plan and a training plan, and it'll be like, right, go and do this. And I was up for that. I thought, okay, yeah, that's fine. When I realized, you know, we have a whole Facebook group, you've got all your social media, I thought, hold on, this is a lot more valuable than the actual. I'm not saying the training and nutrition is not valuable, of course it is, but around that, to be able to have that community support from other clients as well as yourselves, to be able to
Yeah.
have discussions, to go on the team call, knowing that other people are on this call and we can speak to you live and ask you questions. The things that they ask, you probably thinking, oh, I was going to ask that anyway. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's nice to know that other people are on a journey like you, because in my house, I'm the only one on a journey. In my
Yeah.
family, in my extended family, I'm the only one on a journey. So a lot of the time, the people closest to you can't relate.
Yeah.
So to be able to jump online and see that, okay, look, I'm not doing this by myself. There's so many other people doing it. They don't live with me. They're not here, but I know that
They're
they're there.
there.
That's the best thing as well, because you do have that sense of, you know, community spirit, and, you know, you're not the only one. And I think to be able to jump onto social media and see yourself and Simon talking and just motivational speeches, quotes, those are the things that I need to see when I wake up in the morning and I'm thinking, oh my God, my body is sore. Do I take a day off from the gym? Then I open it and then you guys
Then
are
I
rambling on about all this lovely stuff. But you need to see that. And the fact that you guys post this type of thing on a daily basis, I think without that, I would have spiraled a long time ago, because
Yeah,
I'm the
it just
type of person
helps.
that needs my hand held in a journey.
Yeah.
I can't just be left to my own devices, because then I will end up saying, oh, I don't really care, I'll forget it. But,
Yeah.
when you don't let me give up, and when you're like, no, come on, sort yourself out, I literally need that person holding my hand and being like, let's do this, let's think about this, let's try this. And that's for me being the most valuable part of GS, is it's having that motivation, and just even having someone believing you can do it. The amount of times I've heard people say to me and other people, you can never get back your pre-baby body, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
your single days, or before being a mum, the body you used to have, it just doesn't happen. It's not in
Yeah,
our
because people will say
genetics.
things like that now, don't they? Where it's just like, well, we've had kids now, isn't it? So it's
Yeah,
just
it's like an
like you need to
excuse.
accept how you are, like,
Yeah.
and you don't have to.
Yeah, no, but I used to listen to people
Yeah, yeah,
thinking,
yeah.
actually, is it realistic? Could I ever get down to a size 8 again? And although I'm not there right now, I have full faith that as I keep on going, I will. I'm determined to get back to that, to be like, I have got back the body that I had before kids. Now what are you going to say,
And your shape has changed so much,
Yeah,
hasn't it?
it has. It
And I
has.
think you're an absolute class example as to, although you have lost weight, you have lost a substantial amount of weight, but where women can sometimes get hung up on scales is the difference in your before versus now,
Yeah.
image wise, is huge.
Yeah.
But scale weight is not huge.
Yeah.
But I think, like, for you, it's like looking like you physically look like a different person.
Exactly. I mean, although I think I'm something like 7 to 8 kg down from when I first started, but as you say, by looking in the pictures, it looks like a good 12
Completely different
kg.
person. I could easily post that and be like, this is a 4 stone weight loss, and
But yeah,
no one
no
would
one would
argue
know.
it.
Yeah,
No one would
no, it
argue.
is. And I think the fact that I can see a bit of muscle coming through as well, and as much as I never wanted to be the muscly type of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
gal, I'm still not obviously a muscly girl, but just seeing a little bit of definition.
And your bum.
Yeah, and that.
Like, look at my
Yeah,
bum.
exactly. Seeing those type of things are things that I never thought I would see after children. And the
Yeah.
fact that, and another thing people say as well is when you get older, you're gone 30, so your metabolism slowed down. You're not going to be able to do what you could do in your 20s.
Yeah.
Now I am a lot stronger than I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show that all of these myths. Another good one is the fact that I have polycystic ovaries.
Yes.
And I remember even a doctor saying to me, you'll probably get overweight and it'll be hard for you to, and as much as it might be hard for me to lose the weight, it doesn't mean I can't. But I've always, again, grown up thinking, right, that's my fate. Got polycystic ovaries. I've
Yeah.
had kids now. There were so many excuses to be like, right, this is the way you are. There's no going back.
Yeah,
But you
100%.
have to just kind of, now that I know they're myths and they're not true, I have to put all of that out of my head and just keep going forward and just proving that it
And
is
it is like
possible.
with PCOS, like we have a lot of women that come to us with that, and like you say, doctors, they kind of make it feel like it's impossible
Yeah.
to lose weight. And there are things you need to take into consideration with it. It does make a difference, but it's still very achievable,
Yeah.
and you know that I've also got PCOS, and
Yeah.
it's one of the first things you get told is one of the symptoms is weight gain.
Yeah.
But it's actually not. If it's managed in the right way, it can make you have more cravings, which can make you more hungry and make your sleep not as good.
Yeah.
And those kind of things make a difference, but it's still very, very possible to lose weight and be in the best shape
100%.
ever.
And I never would have believed it before. But I should have known. I mean, doctors say all sorts. I even remember them saying to me, it will be difficult or unlikely for you to have children. And here
And
I
now you've
am,
got
3
three.
kids later. So,
Were
what
you
they say is not
diagnosed
always.
with polycystic ovaries before your children?
Yep, I was 16 when I was
Are you?
diagnosed. 16. So
Wow.
I literally, from the age of 16, had it in my head that I probably won't have kids.
Wow.
And here I
there you
am 3 kids later. So it's not always what they say.
No, that's
it's-
fascinating.
yeah.
That's
So
early to be diagnosed with PCOS.
I had very irregular periods
you?
as a teenager. I started my period late. I was only 15 actually when I started
Wow.
my periods, and then very, very irregular. So the doctor then did the test and ran a test and knew that I had polycystic ovaries. So I was age 16 when I found out.
Wow.
And I just accepted fate from then. I think from that time, I just thought to myself, oh, probably won't have kids, going to end up fat. And, all of this hair loss is another one, like all of these symptoms. But obviously, those things were not 100% true. And it just goes to show that, all of these things that you're told or that you believe to be true aren't necessarily true. And it's only with education, like I said, before joining you guys, I had no one educating me on any of these things. I would just hear things from people or left, right, and centre, be picking up different things and just making up my own mind about,
And it can
what
be
was right.
really confusing, can't it? I think
Very confusing.
people a lot of the time, because there's so much information out of there, they end up then just procrastinating on actually starting because it's like, I don't know what to believe. I don't know
Exactly.
which road do I go down? Do I eat carbs? Do I not eat carbs?
Yeah.
Can I lose weight with PCOS? Can I not? And it's just this absolute minefield. Do I need to do cardio? Do I need to do weights like classes,
Yeah.
CrossFit? Like what the hell do I do? Where then they actually just don't start their journey at all because they don't know.
Yeah.
And I guess like for you, what would you say is the biggest thing that you've actually learned? Like the singular biggest thing that you've learned since you've been with us?
Honestly, the biggest thing I've learned is that I can weight train without looking like a man. I honestly can't stress how much I thought that
You
the
were
weight
terrified of
section
it.
just belongs to men.
Yeah.
And, the fact that the weight training is burning off more calories than a treadmill, that blows my mind as well.
Yeah.
Knowing that when you're training and you're recovering, you're losing calories.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're doing cardio, you're
Do your
jumping on,
cardio
you're
and then
just
that's
doing it
it.
and it's done. But again, that's something I was never taught. That's probably the biggest thing I've learned. Not only that, I think one of the biggest things I would say is by looking at other people's journey and my own and people's transformation and Simon's transformation is don't think that anything is not possible. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
100%.
you see
100%.
it in front of your eyes and you think, right, this person's done it. I've done it this far, so of course it's possible.
Yeah.
So, one day I will fit into the clothes that I once wore. But if someone had told me this a year or so ago, I would have been like, no, 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 it's just not meant to be. Like, I've had kids now. I'm
Yeah.
old. I'm, late 30s. So, I'm not going to have that body. But now I absolutely can say wholeheartedly that, yes, this will happen. It's
And do
sticking
you
to
think
it.
as well, like seeing the other women in the team, like obviously I posted Sarah's transformation the other day, a huge, huge transformation. And again, something that she never thought was possible. She's never been looked like that in her life. Does seeing people that have already gone through that inspire you as well?
100%. 100%. You look at them and you think they're doing it. So it's something that's achievable. And the thing is, everybody does it at different rates because everybody has a different plan and everybody follows a plan in a different way. It's like when you say you're going on a journey and, it depends how many stops you make to get to your
Yeah.
destination. So, where I acknowledge that at the start of my journey, sometimes I wasn't taking it seriously or I had that self-doubt that I'm never going to do it. So let me just cheat here and there. But the more I'm getting into it, the less stops I'm making now, and the more I can just focus on
Yeah.
getting to that destination and seeing other people doing it and some of them doing it quick as well. I think, no, do you know what? They're doing it. I can do it. Anyone can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you say, I think it's important with the thing of that everyone's journey is different.
Yeah.
Some people they will get their transformation in 3-4 months. Others it can take a couple of years.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong way of doing it. Ultimately, it's what's most enjoyable for the person. But I think, and I said this to one of the other girls earlier on the chat as well, that seeing the inside of the kind of journey, because when people are looking at the social media, they will see the before and they see the after, and they don't see what goes into that.
It, yeah.
So they can kind of look at it and think, oh yeah, but it's all right for them and all this. They create scenarios around it. But when you guys are in the program and you get to see more behind the scenes of what people actually go through, and like on the calls and stuff, the questions that people ask, the fact of that it's regular people with regular jobs and with kids and with issues that have got going on, and everyone's got obstacles to overcome. Seeing that as well, do you find that that really helps you know that, well, if those people have done it with all of that going on, that actually, yeah, I can do it?
Definitely, definitely. I mean, I feel like I'm such a busy person, even though I'm not. Because if I compare myself to people who have full-time jobs and kids, for example, or even single parents, and they're
Yeah,
doing it all themselves and they're able to do it, then I think to myself, actually, I have got time and I haven't got as much going on as X, Y, and Z. And, it's that motivation that they're doing it, so there's no
yeah, because you
excuses.
see some of the people in the team, like Ellen, for example, like absolutely phenomenal journey, single parent,
Yeah.
going through breast cancer, no family around to help, and you see something like that, and you just think, and then sometimes I'll speak to people, and they're like, "Well, but I'm a bit busy," and this and the other, and you just think,
Yeah.
listen, if
You
someone like
think
that can do it, like
exactly.
anyone can do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, no, you can compare yourself to people in that way where it does inspire you because you think, right, that person's got all of this going on. And you hear about it through your stories. You'll read your stories of, describing someone's life and you think to yourself, oh my gosh, how can they do all of this on top of what they got? And then you think to
Yeah.
yourself, right, no, do you know what? You're just being lazy because you've got nothing on that. So it's definitely helpful to see other people going through, what they're going through as despite, the type of life that they have.
And I
So
guess like to finish off would be, what would be the biggest thing in terms of change of your life in a positive way, whether that's how you feel or how you look, or what would be the singular biggest thing that you could say, this has changed my life because of this?
I think it's definitely not, even though I feel like I look better, it's definitely not the way I look. The biggest change is from within. It's the confidence. It's the feeling of power as well. Like I literally feel strong. So it's not like, I'm training just to look good. I'm training because I feel like I'm strong. I feel like I'm,
Yeah.
substantial. I've got energy. I feel like
And you can do monkey bars.
I can do monkey bars. I could do things with my children, and I think that confidence inside definitely knocks off the looks and everything. That
Yeah.
they're all bonuses, and
Yes.
and it's ironic because when I started the journey, I did it for looks. I think most
Yes.
people do. You want to just look better, but
Yeah.
I didn't realize how different I could feel once the changes start coming. And then that just feeds into, making you more hungry for the next step. I
Yeah.
think, you just
Excited for how
thrive
much
off it and
better.
exactly and think, right, where can I go with this? So, I think even when I get to, the weight that I think I want to be at, I've got a feeling I'm going to want to just keep going
Yeah,
and,
just like what it is, it's challenging new limits and stuff. And I think
yeah,
everyone that comes on the team is like that. It's like, right, I'm gonna that's why a lot of the women will go on to do photo shoots, because they get to like their initial weight loss goal or whatever, and then it's like, I can do more. I can do anything. They feel almost like you say powerful.
yeah,
It's having that invincible kind of mindset of to that I can do anything,
yep,
which is super, super exciting.
it is very.
But no, thank you. That was absolutely brilliant.
Thank
I
you.
loved it.